In the year 1066, England was a kingdom standing at a crossroads, proud, powerful, yet divided. For centuries, Saxon kings had ruled this green and fertile land. But far across the narrow sea, a storm was gathering, a storm that would reshape the destiny of England forever.
This is the story of ambition, betrayal, and conquest. A story written in blood and fire. The Norman Conquest, the day England changed forever.
Edward, known as the Confessor, was a pious and peace-loving ruler. He had built the grand Westminster Abbey, a symbol of his devotion to God. But one thing he had not built was a future.
Harold Godwinson, Earl of Wessex, the most powerful noble in England. Brave, shrewd, and trusted by the people, yet envied by rivals. Some whispered that Edward himself had chosen Harold as successor.
Across the narrow sea, Duke William of Normandy remembered a promise. Years earlier, Edward, raised in Normandy during exile, had once spoken of making William his heir. A word now turned into a claim.
And from the north came thunder. Harold Hardrada, the legendary Viking king, descendant of Odin's warriors. He saw England as part of his empire, his by right of blood and conquest.
As the winter wind howled through London, the old king lay dying. Around him gathered his wife, Queen Edith, and Harold, his trusted earl. Edward's eyes fluttered open one last time. But even as the cheers rose in London, across the Channel, one man's fury was rising like a tide.
William remembered a day years before when Harold had visited Normandy. Stranded by storm, Harold became William's guest and prisoner.
And so William began to gather men, horses, and ships. He would not plead for a crown. He would take it by sword and by flame. Carpenters hammered day and night. Blacksmiths forged blades. Priests blessed banners. On every ship, men whispered prayers. They called it the Enterprise of England. But the Channel remained restless. For 6 long weeks, the wind blew against Normandy's coast, trapping William and his army. As they waited, fate turned her gaze elsewhere.
Far to the north, another storm broke. The Viking king Harold Hardrada had come with 300 long ships and vengeance in his heart.
In a feat of unmatched endurance, Harold marched 200 miles in 4 days, a desperate race to save his kingdom. At Stamford Bridge, the Saxon army caught the Vikings unprepared. No armor, no warning, yet still they fought like beasts. But as Harold savored triumph, news arrived from the south. William had landed. While Harold fought the Northmen, William's fleet slipped across the Channel. At Pevensey, the Normans came ashore, war banners high, hooves striking English soil. William wasted no time. He built wooden castles at Pevensey and Hastings, marking his claim with stone and fire.
Harold marched again, 200 miles in just 2 weeks. His men were weary, wounded, yet their loyalty burned bright.
On the night before battle, both kings prayed, one for victory, the other for England. The sun rose red that day, as if it knew blood would flow. Harold's men formed a shield wall atop the ridge. Below, William's knights and archers prepared for war. Saturday, the 14th of October, 1066. Upon the gentle slopes near Hastings, destiny awaited.
The fate of England would be decided not by crowns, but by courage.
The Saxons had come in haste, weary from battle, yet fierce with pride. They held the high ground, their shield wall an unbroken fortress.
William's force was trained, disciplined, a blend of cavalry, infantry, and archers. They came not just to fight, but to conquer.
William unleashed his knights. Heavy cavalry, the pride of Normandy, surged forward like an iron tide.
Yet the shield wall did not break. Time and again, the Normans crashed upon it and fell back, broken.
When courage failed, cunning took its place. William ordered a false retreat, a dangerous gamble.
In a heartbeat, the hunters became the hunted. Harold's line began to waver. Gaps opened. Arrows found flesh.
For hours they fought, neither side yielding. Then, as the sun climbed high, fate struck its final blow. Harold fell where he stood, surrounded by his loyal housecarls, cut down to the last man. The crown of England lay in blood and silence.
On the day of Christ's birth, William entered Westminster. The bells rang once more, not for Harold, but for the Conqueror.
Outside, London's guards, mistaking the noise for rebellion, set fires in the streets. The new king's first coronation gift was chaos.
Thus began a reign forged in fear, a rule by sword and suspicion.
Not all of England bowed. In the north, Saxon nobles and Danish allies rose in revolt. It was conquest, not of land, but of spirit. By winter's end, the north was silent.
To hold what he had taken, William built castles, symbols of Norman might and Saxon submission. From their towers, the new lords watched and ruled.
To know his realm, William ordered a survey of every manor, field, and soul. The Doomsday Book, a ledger of a conquered nation.
In the twilight of his life, William lay wounded, his empire vast but uneasy. He had won a crown, but lost peace. And so passed William, the bastard turned conqueror, the man who changed England forever.
From the ashes of conquest rose a new kingdom, one woven from two worlds, the Saxon heart, the Norman hand.